Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Bottom of the Bill. I'm sorry, were you going to say something, Anton?
No, it's okay. You're doing a great job.
Or were you going to say the same thing that I was going to say?
No, go ahead. You start off. I'm actually interested to see how you started off this time.
I did start it off pretty well, but I felt like
There's always a tinge of uncertainty when you start off, though. It's always like you don't feel totally comfortable starting it off.
Story of my life.
Yeah, okay.
I'll tell you that right now.
This week we had our good friend Brett Bass on.
Yeah.
An amazing flat picker, bluegrass songwriter, band leader, and frontman for Grandpa's Cough Medicine, who's making a resurgence, we found out.
Hell yeah, come on back.
So we're stoked about that. They're working on a new album, and he's got some dates coming up at Suwannee Roots Revival in October.
Yeah, I think right when this comes out, I think it's either the weekend or the weekend before. So either be at Suwannee or get your tickets for it.
Or be listening to this.
Yeah.
Or be doing both,
yeah.
actually. So we're getting some great spaces on this on this episode of the podcast.
Yeah.
We talk about, I didn't know that Grandpa's Cough Medicine went to Europe.
No, I didn't. That was interesting.
That's a cool.
And we got a couple of bar fight stories in there, which is always fun for a podcast.
Also, we want to thank everybody who helped make our TikTok video go viral. That was pretty dope.
Specifically China.
Yes. Yeah.
Just the entire country.
And all the haters commenting on us not being professional musicians and all the good stuff.
They were saying that?
Oh, they were saying that.
Bring it on.
Bring it on, bud. You're just getting our fucking numbers up in the algorithm, so we're all about it.
Yeah, user 0007415. I'm coming for you.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
We got I have no dates to plug right now. I don't know if Billy, you got any dates you want to plug?
Not at this moment now.
Okay, so
we're chilling for a little bit.
So enjoy the episode, guys. Thank you again for tuning in. Here we go.
Bottom of the Bill episode starts now.
This is Bottom of the Bill, where we talk about the modern grind of a musician.
Album cycle.
Hold on, Bill. Give me a second, man. Because we don't know what we're talking about.
Spotify playlist.
You keep interrupting me. That's not how we discussed it. Just give me a second, man. We invite established artists
Festival lineups.
Can I just get my stuff out real quick? We invite established artists on to share their strategy to success.
Marketing strategies.
The premier do-it-yourself podcast.
Hashtag DIY.
Ah, screw it. This is Bottom of the Bill.
There you go.
All right. Welcome to another edition of Bottom of the Bill, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, welcome back.
We got Brett Bass with us today. Cheers, bro.
Howdy.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah,
I know you only
howdy,
got
bud.
water today, but
Yeah, sorry, I'm
Bill, you want cheers
a
or
little lame.
You're far away. Just
an ET phone home kind of situation?
over the You keep on getting farther and farther away from me.
Yeah, I know it's weird.
It's a analogy for our relationship. That was weird. Laugh.
Don't be silly.
Don't be silly.
So what's been going on, man?
Man, I moved back to Jacksonville at the end of May, and I've just been staying busy playing solo gigs and some gigs with the trio, and lately been rehearsing with the trio that will be Grandpa's Cough Medicine and getting ready to do some festival sets with that. So
Nice.
just getting the music thing going again, which has been fun.
Hell yeah.
What's the trio setup?
It's upright bass, banjo, and guitar.
Nice.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you on guitar?
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe you switched it up.
I have not switched it up.
All right.
What was the reason for bringing Grandpa's Cough Medicine back?
You know, I've spent a long time building that brand and working with that band, and have 3 original albums out. And you know, it's not something that I wanted to give up. It's just something I was kind of forced to do. So bringing it back just feels like a good way to get back into music. Because you know, when I started the band under my own name, Brett Bass and Melted Plectrum, it was like starting from the bottom rung of the ladder again. You know, and that's not a fun feeling for someone who's been at it for 12 years playing music, and to just suddenly find yourself back at, you know, the bottom of the bill, so to speak.
Yeah.
Nice.
So,
Get it.
you know, I'm bringing back the brand that I've had success with, and the brand that people most recognize me with, you know, so.
I get it for sure. Now, do you enjoy that role of kind of being the band leader and like the face of everything, or?
You know, man, musically speaking, it's kind of the only thing I've ever known. I've, you know, had freelance gigs playing in other people's bands, but never anything long or lasting. And Grandpa's Cough Medicine was like my first band, and I've been the band leader of it the whole time of its existence. And it's kind of just what I do musically. It's like, what else is there? If you're turning out songs and turning out music, you kind of have to be in charge of it if you want it to become reality. So it's just all I've known musically, really.
And you were like a metal guitar player before you started the bluegrass thing, right?
Yeah. As a kid, I heard Ozzy Osbourne on a car commercial. The solo for Crazy Train came on, and I was like, what is that? I just got obsessed with Randy Rhoads and Ozzy, and then got really into Black Sabbath, and that was kind of what took me, down my initial path of guitar was Guitar Hero guys like Tony Iommi and Randy Rhoads and Zakk Wylde, and got into Pantera and Metallica, and then the heavier stuff like Cannibal Corpse and Cryptopsy and Dimmu Borgir, so I also played a lot of classic rock. I played a lot of Zeppelin and stuff that, every kid learns on the guitar, but, metal was definitely what I was most into as a kid.
I noticed that you didn't mention Eddie Van Halen in that. Is there a reason?
I mean, I have great respect for Eddie Van Halen's guitar playing, but, that whole glam rock thing just never did much for me, musically speaking,
Interesting, as Billy thinks that Eddie Van Halen's the greatest guitar player on the planet.
Yeah, or was. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
I mean, he's up there on the list, man.
Yeah, 100%. Good songwriter too.
We had
A fun band.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah. We were having a bit of a discussion on this in our last podcast because there was kind of a weird thing when like that finger tapping style was kind of becoming like a mainstream thing.
Right.
And the idea was like, well, Eddie Van Halen kind of brought it to the mainstream, but like Randy Rhoads was kind of the guy doing it before, but nobody really knows. I mean, it's an impossible question to answer, but like, what do you think?
I mean, I just watched a Randy Rhoads documentary. I guess it's on Amazon, and they touch on that subject and the rivalry between Van Halen and Randy Rhoads. And Eddie seemed to think that Randy, stole his guitar stuff, and Randy Rhoads was literally just teaching guitar lessons and having kids bring in Van Halen songs. Was like, yeah, okay, I'll learn that and show it to you, and that's what he did. So I don't know and don't really care. I like Randy Rhoads' guitar playing better, just because it's over heavier music, and to me, it's just cooler. It's got more. I don't know. It's more interesting to me musically.
Definitely more melodic sensibility, I feel like.
Yeah, and just I like heavy music, so like the glam rock stuff just wasn't as didn't hit me like Ozzy did. So I mean, I'll always be team Randy Rhoads, but I would never downplay Eddie Van Halen's guitar playing. He does a lot of things I'll never be able to do. So.
Yeah.
Well, why are you trying to bring Eddie down? Like, what's the point of this? Like, can't they just both be awesome?
Totally. It is a conversation that's had amongst guitar players. That's why I'm always curious about the perspective. I like Randy Rhoads more, but I'm just saying that like there's a lot of people that feel differently. I'm Team Randy. Yeah.
I'm Team Eddie.
Yeah.
I'm Team Randy.
Yeah.
I would love to start some T-shirts. Like, yeah, Team Eddie.
Or
100%.
Team Randy.
Yeah.
Bottom of the bill merchandise.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Everybody choose a team.
Yeah.
That sounds like the world at large right now. It's like everybody choose a team.
Yeah.
But I'm not choosing.
There's two choices.
Yeah, it's not
either
two
you're
choices.
for us or against us.
Exactly.
100%.
I'm not dissing Randy Rhoads and Black Sabbath. Like I fucking love them too. Like
Yeah.
just whatever.
What was what kind of inspired you to start getting involved with bluegrass?
I think the simple answer to that is smoking weed. I was hanging out with some dudes when I was probably like 17, 18, and this is just when I started smoking weed. I never did as a teenager, and when I turned 18 and lived out on my own, I started dabbling. And they put on some bluegrass one day, and it was like instrumental bluegrass, and I was like, really stoned and just really paying attention musically, and I was like, these dudes are shredding, like straight up. Like as someone who loved heavy metal music and shredding guitar solos, like I listened to these guys playing mandolins and banjos and fiddles, and there was just no doubt in my mind that they were full on shredding, but they required no electricity. They required no drums. They could do this in the woods around a campfire. And that was something really interesting and special to me, the purity of it, that it could be made anywhere, without all this extra stuff that you have to play with a rock band or whatever, which was all I had ever really done musically. And I don't know. I just kind of got bit by a bug when I first got into it and just kind of became obsessed. Got really into bluegrass, started listening to all the people that, everyone said was the best, and just really trying to wrap my head around this music. Bought flat picking instructional DVDs from the guys that, I heard about, like Doc Watson and Tony Rice and Brian Sutton, and really just kind of delved deep into the style because I'd been taking guitar lessons since I was 11. So, I knew how to play the guitar, at least from a physical standpoint, but had never applied it to anything acoustic, had never really played much in major keys because if you think about metal, it's mostly all minor keys.
Minor stuff, yeah.
So like just switching to major key tonality was a big jump for me, like just playing stuff that was pretty as opposed to brutal or, whatever that you get with metal. So I don't know, I just got bit by that really hard. Went to my first Suwannee festival, Magnolia Fest, when I was probably about the same age, 18, and saw dudes that were on stage that day playing with the headliners, out in the campground, just playing music for fun at night. I was like, you don't see that in metal music or rock music,
Right.
like people just playing music with each other because they like it, because it's fun, because it's an enjoyable thing to do. It's like, we're all here, we all got our instruments, let's pick, and I just found that cool and beautiful and awesome and something that I wanted to be a part of. So just really put down my electric guitar and became pretty obsessively focused on bluegrass after that.
Hell yeah.
Did you have like a mentor, or were you like playing with anybody around that time?
I can't say I had a mentor, I bought the instructional DVDs from the guys who were the best in the biz, and tried my best to emulate them and learn from them. But, bluegrass is kind of a niche genre, especially down here in Florida. It's not if we were in North Carolina or Tennessee or Kentucky, I'm sure there would have been mentors. But down here, I was kind of just left to my ears and my own devices in terms of my ability to play it. So I basically just listened to the guys that I understood to be the best and was like, well, that's what to shoot for. Like those are the guys to emulate and copy and learn licks from. And, that's where I started. But through the years, as I continued to play, I did, meet guys that I really looked up to, like Larry Keel. He was one of the first great flat pickers I got to see in person and got to be, like, he's one of my friends now. It's one of the great things about bluegrass is that the artists are very accessible, something you also don't see in other genres of music. Like,
Totally.
you can see Ronnie McCurry and Rob McCurry out at the campground having a beer, picking with everybody, at the end of headlining the festival. They're regular people that just enjoy the music and enjoy the camaraderie. And I found that really cool,
Yeah, I'm curious about. We were kind of talking about it earlier, like the difference between like a lot of scenes, like the jam scene, and even like into the pop world and stuff like that, where the kind of the motive becomes to find the financial stability and success and all that stuff. But there's a thing with like the punk and metal scene where it's like the taboo of success almost.
Yeah, it's like
that.
selling out. That's like the big one. You can't sell out and still be a metal musician.
Right. Now,
I
do you find that dynamic exists within bluegrass too, or is it kind of like different?
I mean, I feel like people define selling out differently. Some people might define selling out as like, instead of playing your great bluegrass music that you're good at, trying to craft it into pop and, sell it across a different genre. Where, other people think, just if your band gets big enough and you're selling tickets and putting butts in seats that you've sold out. And I don't subscribe to that. It's like, that's what we all want. We all want success doing what we do, So I don't think there's obviously you can look at someone like Billy Strings right now, who's like selling out giant places 3 nights in a row, probably the most successful bluegrass artist in the country. And it's like, I think that's a good thing. Like I don't think anybody can accuse him of selling out, like he's selling out concerts, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing. And that's what we all want. So why would you, begrudge somebody that success? If that exists, I'm not aware of it, in the bluegrass scene.
That's such a good line. It's like, yeah, I'm selling out concerts. What's
Yeah.
up?
I like to describe it as not selling out but buying in.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean?
Lame.
Because you
Like
can
a
call it lame
that's
if
like
you want.
bumper sticker philosophy, bro.
No, it's. I mean,
He's
it's
coming up with
it's,
new
it's
stuff.
definitely simplifying something that's a little bit more complicated, right? Like just
Sure.
saying that you're not selling out, that you're buying in, is obviously an oversimplification of what you're doing.
Yeah.
But I believe that just because you at a certain point you get tired of the grind and like just staying where you're at, and it's not about like selling out. It's just like, I love to do this, but I also need to make a living, and I need to be I need to see some kind of stability financially. And the only way to do that is to start playing by the rules a little bit, you know? That's what I mean by buying in versus selling out, you know?
But
Yeah. I mean, as someone who's never had representation when it comes to management or booking or anything like that all sounds so nice, you know, like to have somebody else taking care of all that stuff that I've always taken care of myself. So, you know,
Totally.
I would buy in a heartbeat if given the opportunity. You know, it's just
yeah.
like the opportunity has not presented itself to me.
Here we go.
So
We're changing the narrative, boys.
I do it by my damn self because I have to, not because I want to.
Totally.
But we can all agree like the Lumineers are awful, right?
I actually
What's that
like
other
a lot
band?
of their
I
songs.
couldn't name
The
3
Hey!
songs by them.
Oh,
So
they're just the ho hey genre.
Yeah, the ho-hey genre.
They're all the same.
The
band.
bluegrass. What is the name of that band?
Lumineers.
No, the other one.
Mumford and Sons.
Thank you.
Oh, there it is.
I like them too, actually.
Yeah,
They're
you
great
would.
songs.
Once
Yeah,
they
you
went
would.
electric, they were all right, but
Get the fuck out of here, Chris.
I've only
Whatever.
heard, you know, the popular songs they have. That stuff doesn't, you know, grab me musically, so I just don't listen to it.
I've literally stayed up with Chris till like 2 or 3 in the morning, and him showing me like B-sides of like Mumford tunes from back in the day, and like what was the singer's name?
it's Avett Brothers, man. Get it?
Get the
together.
fuck out of here.
Avid Brothers?
No. All right, so Marcus Mumford was on this.
There you go, Marcus Mumford.
Yeah, he was on this. What was it? Collection of Bob Dylan songs that got reinterpreted by like all these indie stars at the time.
Yeah, wasn't
The New Basement Tapes. That's what it was.
yeah. That's where like what's her name did Old Crow did Wagon Wheel on that, right?
Wait a minute. No.
No, never mind.
No, they were all right.
Fact check that.
Yeah, definitely.
I can't Google and do this at the same time, but yeah, I don't know, man. Like he's got some good stuff, but even that was pop. You know, that was not bluegrass.
No,
by any
So
means.
then
I
he
wouldn't call-
sold out, and then Marcus Mumford became Eminem.
Oh,
No,
I had no idea.
I
Full
don't
circle.
I wouldn't make the argument that any of them are doing like traditional music traditionally. There's definitely the element of mass appeal in there too. But
Yeah.
I'm saying that the music, it doesn't mean it's bad because of that. It's still, to me, good music.
Yeah, I don't think it was probably a great one because it's not really bluegrass to me. There's like banjo in it.
It's
but
more like folk, like
I don't even know
traditional,
what to
like
call
folk
it.
style, but more pop friendly. You know.
I can't think of a really popular, like top 40 bluegrass band or whatever. you
They
know?
don't exist, bro.
I've been
Yeah.
listening to Billy Strings nonstop for the past like 2 months. I can't get enough of them.
You and everybody else.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm not trying to say I'm like like holding it back from everybody. Like you should probably go check out Billy Strings now. I just found him out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Really unknown artist.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying like that every single one of his shows is just like brand new and awesome, and I love it. But going back to the whole selling out and versus bluegrass versus metal. Yeah, we've had a couple metal guests on here, and they were like, that's a huge part of it is that you don't sell out. Like otherwise, like you're lame or something.
What does that mean? Like who's defining what selling out means? So if suddenly they start selling out concerts, are they now not cool anymore because
Right.
people actually enjoy their music? Like,
Yeah, I think that's what they were getting at.
that's a silly self-sabotaging concept. Like
Yeah.
I would get out of that paradigm mentally. Like you're sabotaging your own success by thinking like you shouldn't have people at your show. Like, is your show cooler because there's only 20 people there? Like,
I think it's almost even less of the artists, and I think it's more of the fans that dictate that, because I think every artist, like especially when you're young, you probably have kind of that mindset, and then you get older and have like real responsibilities, and you're like, oh no, if I want to keep doing this, it's got to be sustainable. But like you have the fans that are like, if you're selling your tickets for more than $5 and there's more than 50 people in there, it's like all of a sudden I think the fans lose what they believe to be their little slice of paradise. You know, that nobody, it's like this is our thing and nobody else has that. When it becomes accessible to everybody, it kind of waters down the value, I think, to people.
I reckon.
You know, but yeah, I agree.
I
I think
don't subscribe to any of that.
Yeah,
I
me
100%
neither.
agree. Yeah, for sure.
If it's good, I hope there's a lot of people that can enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, when I think of any of my friends' bands, it's like I want them to sell as many tickets as possible and play to as many people as possible at every opportunity. You know, it's like, why would you want to play to less people?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
The older I've gotten, like when I was younger, I would get like so jealous when you see like a tour date release and everything. I'm like, oh, I wish it was me or whatever. Now I'm just so hyped for my friends. I'm like, yeah, dude, fucking go
Yeah.
get it.
I think I've become old and jaded because now when I see friends release a rigorous tour schedule, I'm like, that looks exhausting.
Yeah, also
yeah.
that too.
Yeah. I
Like,
mean,
I've been off the road for a good period of time, and like the concept of like organizing tours and doing that whole grind again is daunting, especially because I do it all myself. It's like, boy, oh boy, that's a lot to take on your plate. It's like, I'm just going to be away from home for however many days and probably make peanuts while I'm doing it. And it's a grind.
Yeah, totally. I mean, we used to like a 10-day run or something to the Southeast, and it was the first one in this kind of orientation that we've done been out for that long for, and I do all the booking and managing and stuff like that. So it was brutal leading up to it, because it's like, it's not just like hotels and scheduling, like, when you got to leave places and when you got to be there, but then it's also, when you're doing ticketed events, promotion, all that stuff,
social media,
but then like the structure of every show kind of changes depending on where you are, how many plays you have in the market. So it's like, if we've been here, we've done X amount of ticket sales, then that venue might work with us more on like, okay, well, maybe we give you a better deal on the door because we know that you can draw X amount of people, versus markets you haven't played in, where they structure it a little differently because they want to kind of offset the risk of having a band that's never been there before. So then like you're going through and you're like, okay, well, what was the deal for this place? What's the deal for that place? So you're having like just, spreadsheets of how you structure everything just to remember like what the deals are and all that,
Yeah, I'm getting anxiety just thinking about it.
Yeah, it was brutal. I came back and I had like a good 3 days where I was just like not doing anything because I didn't turn my brain off.
Yeah.
You ever see Memento? You should get like tattoos of all the tour schedules so that way you don't forget.
Yeah.
Instead of spreadsheets.
It's a terrible idea.
No, but you could just you fill it in. Like you just have like lines all over your body, like venue, ticket sales, and everything like that. Just Sharpie it in every day.
Yeah, then when things change, just exit out and then put like okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's brutal, man. It's brutal.
A lot of zeros on there, I'd say.
Did you ever?
Not in the right place though.
Yeah. Did you ever were you ever involved with metal bands at all before you started playing bluegrass, or bluegrass was when you first started?
Never anything serious. I played a lot in the garage with my brother. Played drums growing up, so we would come home from high school every day and just be loud as hell till 9 p.m. And my parents are saints for allowing us to riff out in the garage for that long every day and tolerate that, because it was surely very loud in the house. I still have hearing damage from those days. I remember going in from the garage every afternoon with my ears ringing. I had a Marshall half stack, and my brother's crash cymbal was 4 feet from my head. So
Man.
It was noise, a lot of noise going in and a lot of ringing going out. But it was fun, and definitely where I guess learned to play and cut my teeth and just got used to doing something musical every day, just kind of built a pattern, I guess you could say, that has continued through my life of just like picking up my instrument and dusting it off and making sure I'm not backsliding and stuff like that,
Totally.
Speaking of guitars, can I ask a guitar question since I'm surrounded by guitars? What is flat picking?
Well, flat picking is essentially the bluegrass style of guitar playing, of like playing fiddle melodies and things like that on the guitar, so you're not just strumming rhythm, you're using it as a lead instrument, which, wasn't initially done in bluegrass. It's something that only came later in bluegrass music. Initially, the guitar was just a rhythm instrument, and guys like Doc Watson and Clarence White and Norman Blake and Tony Rice and Dan Crary, they really took the guitar to new places, and it kind of took away the guitarist's limitations as a lead instrument, made it up front with the mandolins and the banjos and the fiddles,
So it's just it's talking about the melody. It's not like the style of.
Well, I guess technically it's the style of using a flat pick and, alternate picking notes, melodies, whatever it is,
Right.
it's you don't just strum it, you're picking it too. So
Do you think banjo's harder than guitar? I don't know. I'm asking
I
guitarist
can't-
questions.
I can't play banjo, so I do.
Me neither, man.
I bought when I got tired of showing up to bluegrass jams and being like one of 20 guitar players that would show up, so I bought a cheap mandolin, a cheap banjo, and a cheap dobro all at the same time. So I was like, I want to play one of these instruments, but I'm not sure which. And banjo I found to be the most difficult. Honestly, it's just like your right hand's doing a lot, your left hand's not doing as much, per se, but like still making chord shapes and sliding them all over the place. And like it was, I took to the dobro the most. That's the one I picked up, and I don't consider myself a banjo or mandolin player at all, but I do play the dobro, and
What's a dobro?
it looks like a guitar with a hubcap in the middle of it.
Oh, I've seen
You
one
play
of
it with a
those.
slide.
Yeah.
Banjo picks on your right hand. It's cool. It's a fun instrument.
Learn a lot. Thanks, friend.
There you go. Yeah.
He's working overtime over there.
Yeah, Chris is crushing it.
Yeah. Audio, video, more video, double video.
Fact checks.
Yeah, fact
fact
checks.
checks.
We'll get around to those. If
Yeah,
we-
whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah, I actually played with you. We did at the jam at Southern Grill. I didn't know that you played dobro at all, and then you came up and you started playing. You were crushing
Yeah,
it.
That
And I
was the
like,
lap steel, but yeah.
lap steel. Okay, okay.
It's the electric version of the same thing, essentially. I tune them the same, so I'm using the same tuning since
Now, is it like 'cause the dobro is played like a guitar too, right? You don't have like the square neck, or you do have a
I
square
have the
neck
square
dobro.
neck. Yeah,
Okay.
so it's not played. It's played flat in your lap
Gotcha.
or standing up with a strap. But yeah, the neck is big block. You can't fret it. The action is that high off the fretboard, so
Right.
it's all made to be played with the metal bar.
Right. Yeah, I love that instrument, man. You did a great job on it too. How long you been playing it for?
Probably since I was about 20 years old, so I guess like 15 years.
Okay, cool. Hell yeah, man. Have you noticed like kind of a growing bluegrass population in Florida or Jacksonville since kind of the Billy Strings phenomena, or because I feel like
It
kinda
feels like
here,
bluegrass is more in people's awareness for sure. I'm still playing bar gigs and breweries and stuff like that, so it's not like I'm selling out anywhere. But I definitely have noticed people being more into bluegrass and flat picking. I think and that's why I think it's a good thing that he's as popular as he is because a rising tide raises all ships. So people think flat picking's cool. That's a good thing for someone like me who does that exclusively, so I'm happy that he's as big as he is, and I hope he continues to push the limits of what people think bluegrass can do, because that's going to help everybody.
totally. It's a wild thing too, because like the rhythm stuff on bluegrass is to me like the hardest part to wrap your head around, because it's like there's no drums or anything, like the bass kind of acts as everything kind of acts as a percussive instrument in some
Yeah.
capacity, but everyone has to have like that very strong awareness of timing, because a lot of it's kind of syncopated too.
Yeah.
So it's like, what was it like kind of wrapping your head around that concept, and then, on top of trying to become a lead player and all that too?
Really the best thing I think for anybody developing a sense of rhythm is to become a slave to the metronome, and the metronome doesn't lie. It tells you when you're speeding up or slowing down, and it just really can build your own innate sense of timing. It's like, when you practice enough with the metronome, you kind of have an idea of what 150 BPM feels like or sounds like. You have an idea of what 170 BPM feels like or sounds like, and I think that's the way to develop good timing in any genre of music, and obviously playing with great records where the bands are kicking ass and have good timing, that helps too. But like for me, it was a lot of metronome practice, and I still practice with a metronome, because I don't want my timing to be something I neglect and have become sloppy or whatever, So, when you're playing a banjo tune at 170 BPM or something like that, there's no room for sloppiness. There's no time for it. You have to be on the money, on the nose. So it's just part of practicing bluegrass, I think, is being pretty religious with your metronome.
For sure. I still practice with metronome whenever I can also. It's just like, you also just feel more comfortable, I feel like, when you're up there playing, like your solos become more cohesive.
Yeah.
And just like, obviously your sense of timing becomes a lot better, but just, I feel like ideas come to you more naturally because you're not like fighting.
Right.
the
Well, when
groove.
you're not constantly thinking about timing, you can now play what you feel. You know what I mean? And if you're sitting there counting 1, 2, 3, 4 over in your head, like, you're gonna not really be feeling the music as strong as you could if you were just innately on that 1, 2, 3, 4 and able to focus on just what it is you're playing.
Totally. Because like playing live too, like the performance aspect of it, there is the natural speed up or slowing down because, whatever the scenario is, but it's very easy to, especially to kind of speed things up when your adrenaline's going, you're playing in front of a big crowd that's like getting off on the whole thing. So just having that and like getting timing down to a point where it's almost instinctual kind of like limits that a little bit. So it makes for a better experience for you, but also for the listener too, you know?
Yeah. And, you know, I have a rule that it's okay to speed up, but it's not okay to slow down. You know what I mean? Like if the song ends 7 BPM faster than we started it, that's okay. We put some extra gas on the last banjo solo or whatever. You know, it feels good to do that. But, you know, if you're doing it and you're 15 BPM ahead of where you started or 20 BPM ahead of where you started, it's like now you might be dealing with a runaway train scenario where it's just like you're not in control of that. Or it's like, you know, I'm fine when the last banjo break kicks in. If it bumps up 5 BPM, that feels good to me. Like it's exciting. You know what I mean? Like it's, you know, so it's not, the metronome isn't something where it's like, you're going too fast. It's just something to guide your sense of rhythm. You know what I mean? It's still okay to follow the band. It's still okay to have things have a pulse and surge forward a little bit when it's time. But, you know, the metronome is an unlying guide piece for your own sense of rhythm. Like I'm sure you've been in a situation where you go in a studio with somebody who doesn't practice to a metronome, and suddenly they get slapped in the face with that metronome, and they realize very quickly it's like, oh, this is where.
Hey, what's up?
This
I'm not
is where,
talking about anybody here though. But what's up?
This is where I'm deficient. You know, like you know, and that's I never want to be in that scenario, so I keep the metronome as a regular part of my practice routine, just because it's like, you know, in the studio, that's where the rubber meets the road with the metronome. It's like, well, I want to record this perfectly, and so I need to have practiced it perfectly.
100%.
My ears like perked up as soon as you said 170 BPM, and then it was okay to go fast, but never okay to slow down. I was like, all right.
That's Billy.
That's me
Billy,
all day.
Billy 101 right there, yeah.
Man, maybe I should be getting into bluegrass.
Yeah.
Think about it, all my songs are just happy and 170 BPMs. Like,
Yeah, well, there's no synthesizers, though, so.
God, maybe there could be.
Guitar it up, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I don't know. I've always wanted to learn banjo.
Good luck.
Yeah, for real.
My great uncle was a famous banjo player in Kentucky. I can't remember.
What's his name?
Wallace Begley.
Okay.
But anyways,
Presley, I've never heard of him.
I'm talking like
I mean,
back,
probably
talk-
Slash.
I
like
don't
back
claim
in
to
the
know every banjo player.
like back in the 30s or whatever. He was a good banjo player and everything. Like this. He's in my blood, 100%.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You like to go fast.
I like to go real fast.
Yeah.
Hey, man, that's why I love bluegrass. I like
Yeah.
to go fast too.
Yeah. Praise Dale. Praise Dale.
So kind of getting off the bluegrass topic and more than the synthesizer topic.
Synthesizer topic.
Bottom of the Billboard.
Yeah, bottom of the Billboard. Back with a vengeance.
Back with a vengeance. Who we got today, Bill?
Today we have a new artist. Her name is Remy Wolf, or the whole band is called Remy Wolf. I don't know a lot about them or her, but anyways, her new song, "Sexy Villain." Great band song name. I love the song. I love her voice. I love the just the cadence, and she's all over the place with the melodies. And
Is there a banjo solo?
there's like no banjos in the song, I think, at all.
Okay.
But it's just like the summer's kind of winding down a bit, but this was like a summer banger, I think, for sure. I love this song. There are a couple things that aren't great about it, which for sure I know you're gonna say the guitar solo at the end. If you listen to it, it's like they put it way in the back, and it's just the tone. It's just
Yeah, the solo's not bad itself. Just the tone is.
they're putting it through like some sort of crusher, like a LFO crusher is what it sounds like to me, like a synthesizer pedal or something like that, and then just like turning up the treble to 1,000.
Yeah.
And it's not Dwayne Allman or anything, but it's pretty bad. Bringing it back. But
We need some fucking sound effects in this
no, I
podcast.
know,
God damn
but
it.
it's all right.
Come on, Chris.
I'll add him in post.
But
Oh, okay.
her
Okay.
as a performer, the band itself is pretty good, and I just really like her voice a lot. I just couldn't. You'll listen to the song, and then you'll be like, "Oh, she's like probably singing like a tenor or so." Then all of a sudden, she's just doing that alto, and then just goes up to soprano, just like that. And you're like, "This chick's got range." So shout out to you, Remy Wolf.
Yeah, I think the song is great. I really love the bass line.
Bassline's great too. Yeah, 100%.
Kind of got like a, similar to the Frank Moody thing where it's like very four on the floor.
Yeah.
But like the bass line kind of keeps it moving and grooving and bouncy and
Yeah.
melodic and all that. And then, yeah, her voice is awesome. I was trying to pay more attention to the lyrics, but I kind of crunched that listening today. So as far as just time wise, I just time crunched it.
I'm sure they're pretty good. It's definitely like it's really heavy Gen Z vibes.
Yeah.
This whole band and everything like that. And that's totally cool. I'm down. I'm down with the Z.
She was shut the fuck up.
She looks pretty Gen Z too.
No, she is for sure.
You know?
She can't be a day over 23. But I'm just saying, like, she's great, 100%. I hope she blows the fuck up. I think she's got like 18 million plays on this song. So
Oh really?
good for you.
I hope we blow up from it also.
Blow what up?
Just from talking about a song that has 18 million plays.
Yeah, I'm like whatever. Like brush a little bit of that cloud on us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I don't know. I loved it. I thought her voice is phenomenal, and I think it's a great arrangement. There was like these kind of like the backup vocals. I don't know if they were using if it was like a keyboard thing or what, but it almost sounded like some of these oohs and ahs that were happening, but they sounded very like
Frankenstein. You're doing the Frankenstein hands.
what's the it almost like they were like highly processed, but it was like a cool and like
Highly processed. What
Yeah.
was highly processed?
like the backup vocals, or there was like this
Oh.
cool like oohs and ahs happening.
Oh, you think that it was like it wasn't actually her singing? It was just like a voice pad.
I don't know what it sounded, but I thought it was really cool. Like,
Yeah.
I liked it. What did you think of the song, Brett?
You know, my mom taught me that if I didn't have anything nice to say nothing. And I don't find anything about the song musically offensive, but it's just not something that I would put into my ears
Totally.
if left to my own devices.
Don't worry about it. That's totally fine. That's music's not for. Not all music.
I
is
wish
for
that young
everyone.
lady the greatest success. I'm sure she's already had more than I probably will. So good for her.
Yeah, way to go. So yeah, does it make the playlist? Billboard?
I'd say so, yeah.
Thumbs up.
For sure.
Neat.
Cool. Well, that wraps up bottom of the Billboard.
Wow, that was short and sweet.
We got a note from one of our producers telling us to put a better bow on those segments. So we've been trying to do that, and
Yeah, we have.
Good
Yeah.
job.
So, anyways, I kind of want to get into Grandpa's cough medicine, and so you guys are coming back with a vengeance.
Yeah, our first show back, or our first official show back, is Suwannee Roots Revival, and we've got 3 sets at that festival, which
Whoa.
I'm super stoked about.
That's dope, man. Hell yeah, congrats.
I'm super grateful to Beth Judy and the people that put those festivals on, because they've supported me for a long time through the years and always given Grandpa's Cough Medicine and Brett Bass and Melted Plectrum chances to play in front of people that love bluegrass and love music, and that's the best thing you can hope for, is to play for an audience of people who are just there to hear music and are there to appreciate it, And so big shout out to Beth and the Suwannee Park for putting on some of the best festivals in the country, because we're lucky to have that so close by,
Yeah,
totally,
absolutely.
man.
Then when is that? That's in like.
It's October 13th through the 16th.
Oh, it's coming up. But for some reason, I thought it was in the spring. So yeah, just in a
They
couple
have one in the
weeks.
spring too, but that's called Suwannee Spring Reunion.
Right. That's right. I didn't know they had one in October too. Mm-hmm. That's right. No, I knew about that.
They used to be
I knew
Spring
about that.
Fest and Mag Fest, and now it's
We're gonna be there like literally 5 days before that, aren't we?
Oh yeah, we're playing like a private wedding.
Yeah, we're
there.
playing a private wedding there.
fun.
Yeah, I think Roosevelt's headlining that too, which would be kind of cool.
Very cool.
They're
Yeah,
headlining a wedding.
yeah.
That's where we're at now.
And then also, and then there's like a silent disco thing they're doing at the end of the night too. It's gonna be pretty dope. I'm
Who's
excited.
getting married?
I
We can't
forget.
say. It's private.
No, I think they're actually opening it up to the public. Also, it's just like
What?
like-
That's awesome.
like, yeah,
That's so baller.
I don't know much about it, but it's gonna be dope.
Everybody's
But either way,
invited to the
yeah,
wedding.
everyone's invited. So let's kind of talk about what kind of brought this band to fruition. How did you get it started? Kind of the history of the band.
I guess when I first started getting into bluegrass, and I liked traditional bluegrass, but I found the lyrical content kind of homogenous, kind of boring. A lot of cabin songs, a lot of songs about missing mama and daddy, a lot of love songs. It was just kind of like the genre and the picking and the singing were all something I really loved, but lyrically, it was just, as someone who came from the metal world, it just felt soft to me, I guess. And I guess at the time I was really into Hank Williams III.
Yeah.
I still
do it
love
to
Hank
you.
III. And I don't know, I just started writing some bluegrass songs that were, more in the Hank III vein, as opposed to, lyrically speaking, than the traditional bluegrass vein. And like, I wanted to write more hard-edged, dark, edgy bluegrass, and so at first it was just this crop of songs, and I was working as a massage therapist at the time. I did that for 4 years before I started playing music full time, and just felt like I needed an outlet for these songs I was writing. So I started assembling a band, and like the first incarnation of Grandpa's Cough Medicine was not a bluegrass band. There was drums, there was electric guitar. It was almost like a honky tonk band. We had fiddle, banjo, me on acoustic, and it was really more of a honky tonk band than a bluegrass band. And that was how we started out, and players started dropping off, whether it be from life circumstances or just didn't work out, as personnel. We ended up just being guitar, bass, and banjo at a certain point, and that was when I just decided to make it a fully bluegrass act. And because, as that time went on as a honky tonk band, I was stepping up my flat picking. I didn't want to be the only person in the band that didn't take a solo, so I was doing a lot more flat picking, learning a lot of fiddle tunes, learning a lot of banjo tunes, and eventually it got to the point where it's like, all right, well, now I'm the only other soloist in the band, so I'm taking solos every song, and the flat picked guitar is now a big part of this sound, so it didn't start as a bluegrass band, but ended up as one, and I'm happy that it did. I'm not sure it would have really had any longevity had it not gone that direction.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like the, I guess like the outlaw country thing is something that's been going on for like years and years and years.
Right.
Whereas like you're saying, like the outlaw aspect of bluegrass wasn't at that time something that had been fully tackled yet. So it's maybe like an
yeah, I
angle
mean, and that
better.
was my full on angle with Grandpa's Cough Medicine, and it still is. Our website at the time was outlawbluegrass.com. You know what I mean? Like that was very much what I was going for, and so like that very much influenced my songwriting. Like if I wrote a sweet, lovey-dovey song that didn't make the album, you know what I mean? Like that wasn't what I was going for with that band, and never was. There was room maybe on a whole album for like a sentimental song, but like I wanted it to be like hard edge, drinking and drugging and chasing tail, and fun things to have songs about and sing about. And
It's still wholesome. That's wholesome. That's wholesome music.
hey man, not
That's just life.
I'm a big believer that not all art has to be beautiful, and not all art has to make people comfortable, and not all art has to be high art. You know what I mean? Like some art can just be for the sake of fun, and
Totally.
that's kind of where I take my approach for Grandpa's Cough Medicine. Is I'm not trying to paint the Mona Lisa, I'm trying to make bluegrass accessible for people who maybe wouldn't be into cabin songs and stuff like that, but can dig a song about drinking and murder and things of those natures.
So I'm curious.
Drinking and murder.
I'm curious, what kind of like crowds were you like playing to? Like how was your music received? What was it, like rowdy, and like fun like that? Or like,
I mean, I guess that very much depends on the venue you play it in. We definitely cut our teeth at the Fly's Tie Irish Pub quite a bit, and those shows always got real rowdy. And one of the things I initially heard a lot playing in the band was that like I've never been into bluegrass before, but I really dig what you guys do. And that was what I took as a high compliment, because it's like we're bringing people into bluegrass that wouldn't have normally arrived there. And showing these people Flatt and Scruggs and Bill Monroe and the Stanley Brothers, after they, get off to songs about drinking and drugging and murder. It's like, all right, well, here's some real bluegrass too, and it turns out you can like that as well if it's shown to you in the proper context, I guess.
Any like wild stories or like just incidences that happened?
One I've seen recounted a few times on Facebook recently is we were at the Fly's Tie playing, and there was a guy who decided he was going to take off his flip-flops and start clapping along with the band with his flip-flops, and he was clapping way off time. And I warned him a couple times. I was like, dude, fucking quit that shit. And he kept, he was drunk, and so he kept right along. And finally, I just like handed my guitar off and got off the stage and grabbed his flip-flop and slapped him across the face.
Hell yeah, dude.
And he
awesome.
quickly realized that I wasn't kidding, and he left shortly thereafter that.
Man,
I love it. Yes.
I've actually got a good one too that I don't know if you know this or remember this, but I'm from North Carolina, and when I was down here at UNF, I was going home for the summers, and I had seen you guys and wasn't playing on the scene so much, but I saw y'all were playing up in Boone, so I went up to the show, and you know where I'm going.
Yep.
Oh boy.
So
Love this story.
I went up to Boone with a buddy of mine, and we're watching y'all play, and I don't remember what set it was, but some drunk motherfucker like just was wobbling around the front of the stage and went right into your microphone, and you walked up to him while still playing guitar and headbutted the ever-loving shit out of this dude. And like, you might have broken his nose. Like, I don't know what. Like, he was bleeding from his face. And my buddy and I were
don't remember
looking at each
the
other
blood,
like, this is. I don't know. Maybe I'm embellishing it a little bit.
You
I
might
was a
be.
drunk teenager.
Yeah, because that's
but-
assault now.
Oh, it was.
That's assault, brother.
It was a beautiful thing for me to see in blue, because I was growing up in bluegrass and never saw like edgy bluegrass. And I'm like, I told a buddy, I'm like, man, there's this great guitar player, these great guys. Let's go check them out. And then like headbutting off the stage, it was beautiful. It was great.
Yeah,
I've
so
been a fan ever since.
to give that story from my perspective, we were playing a very metal influenced tune we have called the Murder Chord, and I guess this guy was a fan, but also very, very drunk. And he heard us playing this song, and he got right up in front of the stage and started like moshing, was like, head banging and carrying on. And he full on knocked my mic stand to where that thing punched me in the teeth.
Oh, that's the
hate that
worst,
feeling.
dude. Oh, what that sound! God, that was a
me.
perfect sound.
Like clocked me in the teeth hard, and like he was completely oblivious to the fact that he just punched me in the mouth with my own microphone, and that didn't sit well with me. So when banjo player started taking his solo, I stepped around the microphone and just headbutted the shit out of him. But his head was down, so I headbutted him in the back of his head.
okay.
I didn't headbutt him in his face, so I don't think there was any blood on his face.
That was
Were you
all
still
my-
playing guitar while you did that?
Oh yeah,
Fucking
didn't
badass.
miss a note.
Yeah, because you had to use your head because you're playing guitar. I was like, otherwise, all right.
That's
Nice,
so fucking
What
funny.
what
I
place
love
in
that
Boone?
story.
Well, I wonder if the same place
Yeah.
we played.
Saloon, maybe.
Yeah.
No, it was Murphy's Pub.
Oh, it was Murphy's.
Ah.
Okay, yeah.
Which is not that anymore. It's called something else now.
Yeah.
We played the local in Boone. That's
Oh,
where
the
we played.
local. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But yeah, every time I played that place after that, I had that story recounted to me like 2 or 3 times by separate people. So I guess that became a semi-legendary
It made
story
its
there
way
in
down to
Boone.
Florida too.
That's an Appalachian
yeah.
legend right there.
I love it.
Don't poke the bear.
And that's our clip, boys.
That fucking that sound, man, it was like dead on exactly what it feels like when somebody does that
It's
to you.
the worst
It's the
feeling.
worst feeling in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you assault me, I'm gonna assault you back.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like my, it's always like my, like where my head goes with that. It's like, oh, that person's just drunk and they don't know what's happening. You're like, you just punch me in the face with a microphone. You're getting knocked out.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, my temper has never been my strong suit. That's why I'm not drinking brown liquor with you guys.
Yeah.
I'm a happier, more easy-going guy.
Seems so even
Without
keeled.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never we haven't known each other super long, and we've only hung out we have hung out and talk shit for a while, but we haven't hung out that much.
Yeah.
And I've only known you the capacity of being a chill and very even keeled dude, even when we were drinking.
Yeah.
So, but I've heard stories of the past, and I was like, I just do not get that vibe. But I can definitely see how you're a big dude. I can definitely
Right.
see.
Well, a dude my size has no business not being in control of himself is my philosophy, and so I don't go down the rabbit hole of liquor anymore. I used to, and it never led to anything good. Every horrible decision I've made in my life probably has alcohol at the front end of it somewhere,
Sure.
So, I just find life is easier not being a drunk, and I thankfully do have the ability to just have 2 or 3 drinks and then stop, be happy with a buzz. And, I'm sure we've all met fellow musicians who just don't have that ability. It's like once they start pounding them down, they got to keep going. And, I've had bandmates and musician fellows like that. And it's just, it's an easy trap to fall into as a musician because we have access to alcohol everywhere. It's always around. Everybody wants to buy you a drink, so it's easy to say yes, and I don't know. I just didn't see it leading anywhere good. So
yeah, sometimes it breaks up, or not. Doesn't really break up the monotony. 'Cause I guess it becomes monotonous when you do it every night. But it kind of makes that monotony a little more bearable.
Yeah.
Being on the road or even at home doing bar gigs day after day just to pay bills and shit. And you're just like, well, this is brutal. And if I had a drink right now, I'd feel much better about the situation.
I'm not saying I don't drink. I do. I will have a beer or 2 while I'm playing, but it's just not a central aspect of it for me.
Totally,
I
yeah.
enjoy playing well more than I enjoy being buzzed.
For sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
like shows, like 100%. I don't think I've ever been drunk at a show or like playing a show.
like a real show or like a bar gig.
Any of them?
No,
Yeah.
well, not
Well.
not to the point. No,
He was counting.
You've never. As long as I've been playing with you, you've never not been in control of your facilities
Yeah.
while playing a show. But there's been times where we've packed up. You're like, I am fucking hammered.
That is true.
Yeah.
I've never been too drunk to play piano.
Yeah,
I will
totally.
say that. But have you ever seen that episode of It's Always Sunny where Dee tries to be Charlie for a day and then has to go back to his house and like sleep there? It's like, you gotta eat this cat food real quick, otherwise you're not gonna be able to go to sleep. That's how I felt like on the road. It's like, if we don't fucking start drinking beer like immediately, I'm never going to sleep. Man.
Yeah.
Or like, it's not gonna be worth it.
That's
It's not
a-
worth it. It'll be bearable.
That's an
Sorry.
interesting thing I don't hear people talk about a lot is the wiredness that you will often feel after you play a show. You know what I mean? It's like you're done. It's 2 a.m. It reasonably should be bedtime, but you can't get home from that and just like be done and go to sleep. You know, like,
Definitely
I'm
not.
always like, even if the show went till 2 and I'm home at 3, I'm not tired when I get home. You know, I'm wired.
Especially after a good show.
Yeah.
Like that's like I don't know how much stimulants anybody in this room has done.
None.
I don't tend to mess with them anymore, but like there's definitely well, it's not. I don't. Let me put it this way. I don't do cocaine anymore.
Good for you.
I'm a caffeine junkie, dude. I
Yeah,
don't,
me
I don't
too.
mess with the powders.
But I will say that after a show, like after a good show, it is very similar to that feeling where you're just
Yeah,
like
you're wired,
You're
you know?
wired and like it's like euphoric.
It's a buzz for sure.
Yeah.
You know, like I think that's why we enjoy music. It's like, you know, we're getting something out of it too. Like sharing your energy and having that energy come back to you is a drug in its own way. You know?
100%.
You know,
There's-
you're wired after you have a good experience of that.
Totally, and there is a lot of that addiction mentality that comes into play, where you get that one feeling like, let's keep it going, or let's keep let's get this feeling even better, and that's when the problems start. But on the other end, it's that you can go home and kind of unwind and come to a natural crash and go to bed and wake up the next day fine, just feeling even better about a night, an amazing night. Keeping that perspective sometimes is hard, though.
Yeah. I mean, man, I stick to a few beers, reefer, I'll eat some mushrooms now and again, but I just stay away from, I have drugs as like good ones and bad ones in my own mind. I know it's not that simple for a lot of people, but it is that simple for me. And there's drugs that I think expand my consciousness and expand my awareness. And there's ones that, are not going to take it in a good direction. So I just tend to avoid those and stick with the natural stuff and, a few drinks. And I don't ever want drinking to become a problem that I just have to stop altogether. So it's like the best way to do that is just not become an alcoholic,
Right. Totally. And I forgot that Grandpa's Coffee Medicine, you guys did move to Asheville for a period of time, right?
We did, yeah. We moved to Asheville and lived there for a year, and then they kept raising the rent, so I moved to Irwin, Tennessee, which is like 45 minutes north of there, right outside Johnson City, and kept playing in the Asheville area, but didn't have to pay Asheville rent,
Right. And you had the full lineup there with you, or you just kind of reformed the band when you moved?
That was where the full the original lineup went up there with me, and we went on this European tour, and
Really?
we did Belgium and the Netherlands for like 3 weeks or something like that.
Oh shit.
That's awesome.
You did all that yourself? Like you planned all that, booked it
Well,
all?
there was a guy over there that took care of the booking end of it, but we had to arrange all the travel and all that stuff.
Okay.
But he had like a van and a sound tech for us and all that stuff when we got there. But
Hell yeah.
come to find out, playing bar gigs in Europe is about the same as playing bar gigs in America. It's
Who'd have thought?
not too terribly different. So like saying you went on European tour looks good on paper, but the tour itself was nothing too terribly.
Do they tip
exciting.
you over there? Because I hear tipping is like outlawed in Europe, correct?
Outlawed.
No,
we got tips, so
Nice, all right.
I don't know.
But you didn't have to
Outlawed.
tip anybody. You don't have to tip anybody at the bar there. That's how it works, right?
Dude,
Because of socialism.
It's
I don't know.
it's a weird dynamic. I will say, when I was in Turkey last year, you don't have to tip.
Yeah.
The same thing like when we were in Greece. Also,
You don't have to tip here either.
you don't have to tip, but it's a weird dynamic because as they almost expect you to as an American.
Right,
number
right.
one, and number two, as an American, you feel if you're not tipping them, that you're being a douchebag.
Yeah.
So it's a weird dynamic where like, yeah, you don't have to. You can always just round up to the next dollar or whatever and be fine. But at the same time, there is an expectation that you're going to tip because you're American. And you kind of feel that pressure as an American to do it anyways.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like tip jars are arising in the strangest of places now. You know, it's like where
God, it's so weird.
it's like places where there's not even a server. It's just like you just put my order into your cash register and you have a tip jar.
I know, and I feel so guilty, but I always tip at least 20% because I'm a fucking sucker.
No.
I can't help it.
I mean, it just depends on the context for me. If you're my server and you're actually performing a service for me, absolutely, I want to
Totally.
I want to do better than 20% for you. But
100%.
you know, like you're not making the sandwich, you're not bringing me the sandwich. It's like, so why? Where's the tip
Or we could go-
transaction coming from?
And then you
know?
go,
Totally.
if you go to like a real fancy place or whatever, where like the bill's like, $150, they're not working 5 times harder to give you that meal, but you got to tip them 20% of that.
Well,
what's that about? Let's get into it.
The expectation is higher though. Like
What expectation?
Because they have to, like, the idea is you're going to a place and spending that much money.
Yeah.
So the service better be like better than what you're gonna get at like a Fridays.
But at the end of the day, they're just bring me my food.
Don't be
and go
talking no
away.
mess about Fridays, man.
Hey,
Yeah.
I like Fridays. Don't get me wrong. I'll eat at Fridays.
Fridays?
I'm just saying
Whoa,
that, like,
come on.
TGI Fridays.
You're better
guys.
than that,
yeah.
man.
Well,
Right?
I don't look at.
Look, okay.
I eat fucking gas station food
Where-
half the
where?
time. I'm
Yeah.
just saying.
You
But,
tip
like,
there?
If someone's bringing out like $100 steak to you,
Right.
They have to be more careful with that food. The
What are you
expectation-
talking about? More careful?
More precious cargo is all I'm saying.
So what? At any point in time, if they drop the food, they're gonna get you another one. It's the same pressure is on the line. There's
I
no,
disagree.
But your time is on the line, like,
It's bullshit. I don't know. I just think that it should just be a flat rate, 100% of the time.
Disagree.
Well,
But anyways, that's what
$5.
you know,
$5.
That's
is
a good
enough.
unpopular
Come on,
opinion.
right?
I want to get.
I was gonna say the other place that at the vape store that I go to down here, they have a tip thing on there. I'm like, what am I tipping you?
I handed you your banana vape,
Yeah.
Banana
and-
so
vape?
you owe me
and they-
$5.
And
now.
they
Yeah.
didn't piss in it. So there you go.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Give
here's
me my
$5.
20%. Yeah.
No, thank you. Sorry, I don't.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Handing me something off a shelf is not a tippable
Thank you.
service.
I
It's
agree.
like Dwight Schrute. I tip my dentist because I can't do that or something like that. What does he say?
I don't.
You know who
I
the person
forget.
I want to tip but I can't tip is the people who make my public sub, dude. Like,
Oh, yeah.
You know, they'll have to go cut a whole fancy meat for you or a cheese that you want. They go above and beyond for you to make the exact sandwich you want. But I can't tip these people.
Well-
these are like the people I want to tip.
That's a good
That's
business.
true.
That's a good business because they have giant. They make them wear badges that says "Don't tip me."
Oh, they all, but they also give them.
They do.
But they also give them stock options in Publix as well. So like,
Stock options.
so like they're
That's like
doing
every
okay.
company, bud.
I don't know.
Just
If
saying.
you make public subs, just know I want to tip you.
Yeah,
I really do.
you heard it
Not
here
me,
first.
man. They suck.
your
What do you
Dwight.
say? My urologist because I'm unable to pulverize my own kidney stones. Yeah, see, yeah, that's
Why
what it
tip
was.
someone for a job I'm capable of doing myself?
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. Whatever. I'm a sucker. If I see tip there, I just instinctually, I'm just like, I have to leave a tip.
I
now,
am.
'cause
I
the
am
option is
too.
there.
I'm
yeah.
trying to be all like big about it, but like,
But
I'm
you're
like,
not.
No, I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm just
we
like,
know. We
I'm
know.
like, okay, here's $2.
I mean, I like tipping well. You know,
Yeah, me too.
It feels
Totally.
good to tip well. That's good enough reason for me to do it. And if I was a loaded person, like I would take great pride in like making someone's day with a $100 bill for bringing me a burger. That would be fun.
100%.
I don't know how we're still on tipping, but there was this place when I went to go visit Miami, and in Miami they have like a service fee, right?
Yeah, it's like 18% off.
or something like that already. And then this waitress comes up to me and she's like, "There's an 18% service fee, and that's going to the people that work in the back that are cooking your food and everything like that. That's not my tip." And then she goes, "Here you go." And I'm like, "Fucking split. Go. You guys figure it out. You split it, right?
Yeah.
You can figure that out at the end of the night."
Shit's weird.
But I
Yeah.
just had to tip her because it was a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
It was called as a bacon bitch. Have you ever been in that place?
No, but you told me about
It's
your
a
experience.
brunch spot where they just blast like 50 Cent and Lil Jon the whole time, and then the moniker is they just keep on calling you bitch the whole time. Like, here's some
And
bacon bitch.
people eat there on
Bacon
purpose.
bitch.
Oh, yeah.
It's mostly for chicks, and my girlfriend wanted bacon, so I thought it would have been a good spot to go to. And the food actually wasn't that bad. It was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it's good food down
The
there. but yeah.
atmosphere felt like we were on the moon. I'll tell you that much.
Okay, well, I want to go back to the grandpa's cough medicine
Yeah.
and all that. I don't know. We got off with the fucking
I don't
tipping
know
rant.
either.
And extravagant dinners in Miami, but
Brunches.
sorry, brunches. All right, so European tour, you guys did that.
Yeah, and some band tension started happening over there, and I'm not throwing anybody under the bus here. I'm not going to get into all that, but it led to me having to get rid of some personnel and bring on new personnel, and for a while there, Grandpa's Cough Medicine was a pretty regularly changing lineup. As I got the people in there that needed to be in there, and so, basically in that process was when we got attacked by a very large and well-known entity. They started emailing places that we play, telling them that our band was racist, sexist, and promoted violence against sex offenders, not based off anything I had said or done or posted on social media, but literally all from the content of the music, which was, outlaw bluegrass.
Like your lyrics and stuff, right?
Yes, the lyrical content of the music.
I'm curious, promoting violence against sex offenders.
Yeah, I had a song about killing pedophiles.
Is that like something that is like controversial with people?
Of course it is.
Violence against sex
I think in certain ideologies, everybody is a protected class, even pedophiles, and I don't subscribe to that at all. And in this song, I encourage pedophiles to kill themselves, and I stand by that sentiment. But there was people who were literally trying to paint me as all sorts of terrible things because I would write songs that expressed sentiments like that. And basically they started emailing places that I played, telling 2 places, and of course, my reputation was ruined with those places when that started happening. And, this started a dialogue between me and this entity. And basically what they wanted ultimately was for me to apologize for racism, sexism, promoting violence in my music. And I was frankly unwilling, because I was like, I'm not guilty of racism. I'm not guilty of sexism. Like, these are fictional works of art. Like, you can't paint things about my character based off the content of my art. Like, do we go to Stephen King for writing novels about psycho killers and be like, well, this guy's obviously a sociopath? Or, some movie director like Quentin Tarantino who writes very controversial movies and say, well, this guy's obviously a racist. He's got the N-word in his movie. It's like, there was just very intellectually dishonest assertions being made about my character, all based off the content of my art. And I was being attacked for this and, having my reputation ruined at places I play music. And then they wanted me to make a public apology. And I just straight up said, no, I'm not apologizing for these things because I'm not guilty of these things. And in fact, I will dissolve this band and walk away from 12 plus years of my hard work before I let you ruin my reputation with baseless accusations. I'm not doing that. I'm not playing this game with you.
When you say it was an entity, was it like one person of that entity coming after you?
It was a local chapter of a very large and well-known public entity.
Sure. I'm just like, do they not have anything better to do?
Sure. I mean, it can bring up, this could bring up a million conversations, because it's like, at the time, my band is small time. We're playing bars and breweries and wineries. We are not on the radio.
That's what I mean.
We're not a national act selling out tickets. How I came into their awareness, I couldn't even begin to guess.
Low-hanging fruit, or somebody was out there with a bone to pick and brought something to their attention that.
Well, it was 2018 at the time, and cancel culture was very alive and well in 2018. And I've seen artists, lose their careers based off tweets they'd made, 10 years prior. There was, that was a real part of life at one point in this country where, you were in danger of losing your ability to make money if people in the court of public opinion decided you were X, Y, or Z.
Still are. And look at Johnny Depp, who came out to be innocent in that whole Amber Heard thing. And it's just doesn't matter now. The court of public opinion a year ago, dude lost everything, all of his movie contracts and all kinds of shit. So
yeah. Well, and basically, I was looking that in the face of, it's so either I take this public and have to assert to the world that I'm not a racist, a sexist, and whatever else these people are asserting about me. I have to somehow prove I'm not these things, which is how the hell do you do that? Like it's an impossible task. It's like, oh, look, look at all the nice things I've done for charity, or like, what do you say? So basically, I was just completely unwilling to play that game, definitely unwilling to bow down to this group and give them what they wanted, which was, me to publicly grovel and apologize. And for what? For offending you? Like, there's thousands of people that listen to this music with no problem, but you find it problematic. So now I owe the world an apology for things I'm not guilty of. Like, I was just straight up not playing that game. So I walked away from it, like I didn't want to, like, I was in the position to record the 4th Grandpa's Cough Medicine album then, and like was ready to do it. And all that stuff just got blown to the wayside, to avoid controversy, essentially.
It's like situations like that are like oil fires, like you can't add water to it because it just makes it worse.
Right.
There's no putting the fire out with water. It's like there's just like you have to just kind of let it take its course and it'll settle itself. And that's just very unfortunate, though.
Ironically, when I told them, I'm not going to apologize, and straight up what I'm going to do instead is walk away from this whole band. If you guys think you can make these assertions about my character based off the content of this music, watch me walk away from it, because I'm not doing that. And then all of a sudden they were like, whoa, we didn't want you to do that. They were backpedaling. They wanted the public groveling apology. That's what they wanted. They didn't want me to be like, all right, then no, I'll walk away from all this shit and just go do something else. Then they weren't getting what they wanted, and they started backpedaling and admitting that I made lots of people happy with my music. And
hell?
But
That doesn't make any sense.
But
man.
it's like, you go throw around baseless accusations that are very damaging to people's careers, and then don't understand why they would just be like, fuck this. Like, I'm not touching this with a 10-foot pole, which, part of me wishes I had, part of me wishes I'd stood up for myself, part of me wishes I didn't fold. But, the size of this entity and the power they have, it was like I just didn't see any way that if this became a public interaction, that I didn't see any way for me to come out on the other side looking good. You know what I mean?
It sucks too, because like even after it's all done, if you were to go that route and apologize and stuff like that, you're gonna have that thing on your back no matter what. Even if they're like, "Yep, he apologized, everything's good." You're still gonna have like.
Well, why would I apologize for making music?
Exactly, that's what I mean. You shouldn't have.
All I'm guilty of is making music.
Yeah.
And it might have made somebody uncomfortable or been offensive to somebody, but it's not my fucking job to coddle you with my music. If you don't like my music, don't listen to it. No one was forced at any point to listen to Grandpa's Cough Medicine, and they're acting like, I have to apologize to the world at large for, the lyrical content of these songs that they found disagreeable. And it's just frankly like, fuck that and fuck you. You are not the art police. You are not the thought police. You don't get to just decide I'm X, Y, and Z things and make me apologize for them. Like, this is not how life works.
I'm curious as to why it always seems to be like musicians and like now comedians have been under attack a lot too, where like you made the point about, like Quentin Tarantino and movies and stuff like that, like why that medium is never attacked, but why like musicians.
What do you mean?
I'm just saying that like you don't.
No, when Django came out, good lord.
But bro, it's like revered as one of the greatest movies of pop culture in our time, though. Like there's always pushback in some capacity with them, but it's never like for instance, like just use a different reference in a different spheres, like Eminem in the late 90s and early 2000s was literally coming under attack against the conservative right because of his content, and it was pretty graphic stuff. But he was making the same arguments, like these are just songs. These are just characters in songs. This isn't what I actually go out and do. So like to sit here and try and like shut me down or get my records taken off of shelves because of the content is an insane thing, and it completely violates the free speech argument that we have here in America. And I'm just curious as to why that is always the case with musicians and now comedians versus other mediums of art. It doesn't seem to have the same effect in those capacities.
I don't know what the answer is as to the why, but I think it's easier to pick apart a 3-minute song than it is a 2-hour movie perhaps, or a bit in a comedy routine that you found problematic is easier to pick apart than some of these other more extensive mediums.
Well, it's also because like we're not like the idea is that you're not acting either, right? It's like when you're saying I or we're in a song, or you're painting a picture in a song, people are thinking like, well, you're not an actor, or in a bit in a comedy, it's like, well, you're not an actor. You are. This is a form of self-expression.
Performing arts.
I agree 100%. I'm just trying to think of like
how many songs have I written where I, destroy a girlfriend's ex-lover with a chainsaw or some such thing. And it's like, obviously these are works of fiction. Like, I'm not a murderer. Have zero criminal record. It's just to make an assertion about my character based off, writing a fucked up song like that is just like kind of like, well, dude, do you understand that there's a separation between art and reality? Like, I live my life completely separate from this music. Like, this music is a thing I make for my own and other people's enjoyment. And if you don't enjoy it, don't listen. It's really that simple. But so many people would like to take everything from you because you say things that they don't agree with, or, don't promote the narrative of the day, or whatever it may be. People think they have the right to destroy you and your ability to make income for yourself. And, I think it's bullshit. It's something that needs to stop, but I do feel like people are getting tired of it. Like, people are wise to that being a routine that people go through. And I don't know. I see it working less and less. You see, they try to cancel Chappelle. They try to cancel Rogan. It's not working out for them anymore like it used to.
Because that side is eating their own, and that's a problem. So people become more privy to that. It's like I actually do believe it there that as a society, I'm kind of more on like the libertarian side of things when it comes to government and all that stuff. So if it was a government doing that, I would be like, absolutely not, right? Mm-hmm. But I do think that means that the burden is to be bared by society as a whole, to call out things that are either bullshit or that have detrimental effects. So I think that when we have like society trying to cancel people because of the speech or the agenda that they're trying to promote, I actually don't think is a bad thing. I just think that there's got to be like a time and place for it. When you start calling people out that are quite obviously on your side because of a perspective that they might have had at one point, or even just purposefully misrepresenting their entire perspective, then people start to see through the bullshit. And then the idea of trying to shut down somebody who shouldn't be making money off promoting an ideology, right? Sure. Like Richard Spencer should not be getting rich off of white nationalism, right? So the idea of shutting him down, I'm not.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is while I don't disagree with that statement, who's deciding? The entity that I'm telling you about accused me of profiteering off of white nationalism, as if I was playing Klan rallies or Nazi rallies or something. It was just the most offensive, baffling bullshit to me.
That's what I'm saying. It's
like who is the gatekeeper for deciding, who's naughty and who's nice?
And that's the problem. Yeah, totally. That's why it falls apart. Because
I do think the guy that's actually doing white nationalist parties and
yeah,
maybe Richard Spencer should be shut down.
No, but the problem, but what ends up happening is that people, because the conversation is so nuanced and people have varying opinions and different lines in the sand that they want to draw. Yeah. It's like they start to, giving everyone that kind of platform is now like, okay, well, if we can just decide as a culture, and we're not even deciding as a culture, we're deciding as one fraction of a culture with a megaphone that just gets a really, really big platform. We're just saying that now this person gets to be canceled because of a perspective that's totally flawed and misrepresented. That it becomes dangerous, and which is why now we can't even as a society decide who can't profit off of terrible things because they get it wrong so many times. Like attacking someone like you is insane. Attacking people on these huge platforms like Rogan or Chappelle or even Kevin Hart, you know what I mean? When it's like you can't, you do your entire narrative like an injustice by calling out people that are ultimately on your side. When you do that, nobody wants this way to work anymore, So then who does it fall on at a certain point, I
don't know. I'm of the belief that, if you don't like something, don't listen to it.
Don't listen to it 100%.
It's really that easy to me. It's, no one is putting headphones on your head and being like, listen to Grandpa's cough medicine.
Right.
That has never happened in the history of things that happen. So to come after me like I'm some kind of terrible person. It's like, meanwhile, Grandpa's cough medicine, we played inner city orphanages for fundraisers. We played Wolfson's Children's Hospital multiple times in the cancer ward, just playing bluegrass for children. It's like any chance I got and do get to do something good with music, I do that. I just got done teaching at Suwannee Kids Camp over the weekend, a couple weekends ago. And it's like, you know, but now you're going to make all these assertions about my character based off the art I made, as if that represents me, and not all these actions that I have of trying to put a little good back into the world, trying to, you know, give back to what little extent I can. Like, it just, you know, it was very offensive to me, frankly, just to have these assertions made about my character when these people don't even know me, made no effort to get to know me. You know, they literally just used the content of my lyrics. Like, that was their only ammo on me to say all these horrible things, was lyrical content of fictional pieces of art, you know? And I don't think that's okay, you know? Like, people have the right to express themselves, and it doesn't have to be something you like or enjoy.
100%. Yeah.
And it doesn't give you the right to destroy their reputation, you know? And it's very intellectually dishonest to start a dialogue, quote unquote, like they said they wanted to do, by destroying my reputation at two places that I've been doing business without event for years, you know, and suddenly they get an email from this entity and they're like, not touching that with a 10-foot pole, which who can blame them? Like, you know, nobody wants that controversy on their business, you know? So, you know, I just think art should be a sacred domain, you know, whether that's comedy, music, poetry, painting, sculpting. It should all be sacred, because this is how people express themselves, you know. And if you're turning angry thoughts and feelings into a piece of art, like, you're turning something ugly into something good at the end of the day, as far as I'm concerned, you know. Like, if I take a murderous thought in my head and put it down on paper and make it a song, and now it's just a piece of art people can enjoy, that's probably a better use of a murderous impulse than what, you know, someone else might do with such an impulse.
Totally.
You know? Like, I just don't understand the demonization of things that should be inconsequential. Art, you know, it's not a manifesto. You know what I mean? It's a song.
Totally. Now, would you say that you're bringing back Grandpa's cough medicine because you're having these impulses, Brett?
Honestly, man, you know, when somebody attacks you in the manner I got attacked, it doesn't make you less likely to make art like that. It makes you more likely to make.
Yeah.
Like, now, I kind of want them to be horrified by the next Grandpa's cough medicine
Yeah, whose
record.
fault is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want them to feel like they opened Pandora's box and have, you know, done something detrimental. And that's, you know, I'm not holding back on this next record, you know. Like, I just feel like at this point I have nothing to lose, you know, by just being full blast and putting things on blast that I think need to be put on blast, and, you know, saying things that I think need to be said, and doing it with bitch and bluegrass music going on in the background, you know?
Hell yeah, man. That's the way to stick it to him, honestly.
And Bill Clinton invented the V-chip for a reason. If you don't like it, yeah, set your parental settings. Don't listen to it.
Yeah.
Like, what's your big deal?
Totally.
You can tell, like, in 5 seconds if you don't like a song or not. Just turn it off.
You know, it's like obviously the party that came after me, their convictions don't go very deep, because there's whole genres of music that are based off the horrible things. They're like, you know, you could look at the genre of death metal, the genre of gangster rap. Like, these are things built around sexism and drinking and drugs and murder and all the horrible things that exist in, you know, some of my music. And it's like, but these whole genres are not problematic for the world. Like, my little bluegrass band that nobody's even ever heard of is, you know, the bane of your existence and has to be eliminated.
Especially in a genre that just historically doesn't get the kind of publicity
Right.
that other genres get, you know?
It's just weird,
It is
man.
wild. But yeah, I mean, that's awful, man. I'm sorry that you had to go through that. But I am
But
excited.
we're glad you're back. Yeah.
Yeah, I am excited to
Yeah,
see
man,
what comes of it.
I'm happy to bring it back. You know, I think all the Grandpa's Cough Medicine fans are very excited about the band coming back, and I'm excited to be dusting off all the old material for them. We've had a couple rehearsals now for our sets at Roots Revival, and it's been really fun to like, you know, kind of hear these songs with new ears because I haven't played them in, you know, some of them in 4 or 5 years, you know, and to be dusting them off and playing them again with the new lineup. Who I want to give a shout out to the guys who are the new lineup.
Totally, I was just about to ask.
It's a couple of the dudes from Melted Plectrum, Benny McDowell on the banjo and harmony vocals, and Rex Putnam slapping the bass and singing harmonies too, and just great friends of mine. Most importantly, you know, I think you've probably ran bands long enough to know that like personnel and camaraderie almost matter more than musical ability. And both of these guys are impeccable musicians, so I'm not saying that to downplay their musicianship, but like, you know, the way we get along has a big influence on me wanting them in the band, you know, and, you know, so I love those boys. Shout out to those guys for getting on board with me and doing this, because, you know, I think we're going to have a lot of fun together.
Hell yeah, man. Well, I'm stoked to hear about all of that for sure. When do you guys planning on putting the record out?
We're just now, you know, learning the new material and kind of arranging it, and I definitely don't want to record the songs before we've really kind of fleshed them out live a handful of times and really kind of found where they want to be, where they want to sit. You know, I think, you know, when you play songs live several times, you start to get a better feel of what it wants to be, you know what I mean, as opposed to what you maybe initially envisioned or whatever.
That's so true, man. I kind of, man, we go back and forth all the time on this podcast about, like, you know, just a studio experience versus a live experience. And, you know, I'm somebody that really values the studio experience and probably enjoy that thing more just because of the end result. But I can't understate enough the value of performing your songs out live and really letting them discover what they are, you know, rather than,
right.
Because like, you hear it one way and you're rehearsing it one way and it's like, this sounds great. But much like structuring a joke or something, really the audience interaction is going to, or even just what it feels like to play the parts live in the moment. You know, it's like all of that really plays into how the song wants to flow and what it wants to do. You know, parts change and, you know, things get, I don't know, it's just the whole live experience of like writing a song, you know, after you think it's done, you know?
No, absolutely. And like to see one kind of come to life in the live setting and be like, you know, that's the way we got to do it, because that's the way, you know, it obviously wants to go. You know, it's a valuable thing for the recording process too, because it kind of like helps you work the kinks out before you get into that time crunched. You know, I don't know, but if it's the same for you, but every time I'm in the studio, I'm also thinking about the fact that I'm spending money. Like, I don't want to be sitting there arranging a song. You know, I want it to be ready to go, arranged. This is how it goes. We go in there and lay it down, you know, and it becomes a much more nerve-wracking experience when I kind of don't know what to do in a certain part in a song and have to figure it out as I go. So I think, you know, the plan for me with new material is to play it live, put it out there in the live sphere, and then once I feel like it's honed in, go ahead and record the record. So I'm not rushing it. You know, I don't have a record label. I don't have any deadlines. You know, it's all going to come out of my own pocket to record it. So when I'm good and ready, then I'm going to record an album. I mean, there's the majority of one written already. I want to, you know, there's a few more missing pieces that I'd like to put in the record, but, you know, a lot of it's written already, and I'm excited about the material.
Where are you planning on recording it at?
I don't have a plan yet. Man.
Okay. Well, if I could make a recommendation, our good friend Jacob Hudson over at Pine Studios.
Yeah.
Great recording spot. We did one of our podcasts there last season when we actually interviewed him, and it's a dope spot. He's a great engineer and works a lot in, you know, I mean, country and, you know, just various styles, but he really digs in to that kind of genre quite a bit. So, anyways, Brett, it's been awesome having you on.
Yeah, man, enjoyed it. Appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely, man. Let's do bottom line segment, bottom line news segment.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got a segment where we're doing music news. Did you?
Doing the news.
Yeah, we're doing the news.
Doing the news.
We're
real news people here. Real Walter Cronkites, if you will.
Yeah, real bottom lines of this. So, do a little backstory of it. So, basically, YouTube is fighting neck and neck. This is our topic last week too, about YouTube versus TikTok and everything like that. But YouTube's trying real hard to keep up with TikTok, and so they're letting their content creators go into their YouTube music archives and use that licensed music on their videos without getting taken down. It's got some pretty good
That sounds like a win for musicians, man.
Yeah, it's a pretty big win, except for can you go down a little bit for
They haven't signed a deal with Sony, WMG, or what was the other one?
Universal.
Universal. So it's like
So-
it's like 3 of the major labels they don't have contracts with. So which
So-
TikTok does. So.
I'm just wondering like what's gonna be available for you.
Well, that's cool. I mean, I'm not on any of those labels, so they
No, I'm not. Yeah,
Use our music, guys.
Feel
Side
free-
Hustle's not on there either.
Feel free to put Grandpa's cough medicine in your YouTube video.
Hell
but
yeah.
the fact is, like, yeah, we like people could start making tons of money off of this from people around the world not scared to use your stuff when consequence of it being taken down.
Right.
I
So-
love this for artists.
Yeah,
man, 'cause
absolutely.
YouTube pays out drastically more than what TikTok or Instagram pays out.
What did it say up top that the revenue is going to be, Chris? I know you're working hard over there. He's doing 3 jobs at once. There you go. The license to music can keep 55% of the revenue or share revenue with license holders. I can't remember what it was exactly, but I'm not really good with
Share,
money.
so
Again, it's all tied up in real estate.
yeah, yeah, you're rent here. Yeah, we get it. I think what YouTube does is, they share like 45% of the revenue with the artist whose music is being used. At least it's how it works on ads. On YouTube Shorts, they want to do 45% of revenue from ads coming there, and then on the actual content, it's like 50%. So I would imagine it's a similar split on royalties coming in. Oh, no. It was
What's up?
22% for one, if the content had one song licensed piece of music in
Yeah,
it.
that's
if
what it was.
If it had more than that, it was prorated, and then starts, like 18%. So if it has like, multiple pieces of music in the one piece of content, then it starts to go down a little bit. But still, I mean, like 18 versus what's TikTok's thing? It's like
nothing.
yeah, like literally nothing. It's like
I don't know. I think you do get some music or some money if they use your sound or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's just like it's China. What are you gonna do? Go collect it from them?
yeah, no, they do pay out their artists. The TikTok is famously good for doing that.
Well, I haven't
at
seen
least.
a dime yet. So
Well, no one's used our music, so
because we haven't made a dime yet.
yeah,
That's pretty much it.
yeah.
What are you gonna do?
I'm actually curious about that too, because we looked up what content creators make on TikTok. It's virtually nothing, but we didn't see.
Yeah.
We haven't seen what, what
I looked
artists
it up
make.
today because we had a post that went viral. Believe it or not, I can't believe it. But it's 3 cents per 1,000 views.
On the content creator side.
Yes.
I'm talking about as far as the artist
Can't be
goes.
much more.
I don't know.
or more. It's got to be free, like 1 cent.
I don't know. I think they famously pay out more than most social media
But even
platforms do.
3 cents for 1,000 views versus Spotify, which is like half of a tenth of a penny for every 1,000 views.
That's changing now though too. We can talk about that on another news
another
segment,
time.
but it is changing.
But anyways, yeah. So there's the news. Everybody knows now.
What do you think, Brett?
YouTube's getting bigger.
I mean, I look at that as someone who puts music out and licenses it for YouTube and stuff. Like, if someone uses my song in their video, that costs me nothing and potentially increases my, streaming revenue or whatever. So I'd say that's a win.
Hell yeah,
Feel free, go ahead.
totally. Especially if we're getting paid off your content that we had to do nothing
Yeah,
for,
exactly.
but just do what we were gonna do anyways.
Zero effort on my part for you to use a product I put out, 5 years ago. That's a win.
All right, because
100%.
our contract with Sony is ended pretty soon, right? So I don't know when this starts, but I think we should start seeing a little bit of money from it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
Might be able to buy an extra vape a year or something.
Yeah, an extra vape per year. At least tip the guy. You know what I mean?
All right.
All right.
Let's wrap up this segment. This is bottom line news.
Bottom line
it's our
news.
news segment. We finally got a name for it and everything.
We need to have the
Yeah. We'll add that in post.
yeah.
Definitely.
Oh, cool. I can see all your notes. This is dope.
Oh yeah, it's still going on.
Boom story.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Dude.
That's gonna be a great clip, by the way. I love that.
All right, and our final segment for the evening is
Unpopular opinions.
that's right. Yeah.
Bill, you can, as usual, go first. on
I'll
this
go
one.
first on this. I'm surrounded by 3 guitarists right here.
There we go.
But acoustic guitarist here, so maybe you won't be as angry as them when I say this out loud. But my unpopular opinion today is I don't. I'm sorry. What? Turn your amp down. Nobody cares about the tone of your guitar. Like nobody cares. Just turn it down, man.
Such an ignorant thing to say.
No one cares.
That's just not true.
It is true.
It's not.
It is.
I mean, I don't have to turn up to get good tones.
That's what I mean. Yeah. So acoustic, it's out.
I'm going to be on your team just to create controversy.
Okay, here we go, boys.
It's supposed to be an unpopular opinion.
Yeah, but
I'm
it's
so sick of it.
factually incorrect though, because there's literally, if I have a 50-watt amplifier.
Oh no! That nobody cares.
No. I'm saying
He's about to give us a very technical explanation
Can't
of
wait to
why
hear
he
it.
has to turn up very loud.
Okay.
Can't
No,
wait to hear
because
it.
I'm like typically engineers have to tell me to turn up because I'm very self-conscious about the volume on
Good for
stage.
you.
Fucking
But
wrong.
yeah, that's
That's just not true.
so what the issue is that okay, I have a 22-watt amplifier that I typically play out of. This is the Fender Deluxe Reverb. Shout out. I'll expect an endorsement after this. I will turn the volume up to between 4 and 5 in most settings that are not most settings. Even at a bar, I will, because once a band kicks in, it sounds pretty even keel. But the reason why I do that is because if I turn it below 4, it sucks all of the body out of the tone. So you're getting a very thin, papery kind of sound that doesn't cut through at all, especially when you have drums and bass behind you. And then keys as well in the same kind of frequency range. So it gets buried. There's nothing there. You need the full spectrum of frequencies in order to have the beef that it has that people love about guitar solos and stuff. It's like they do care. They might not know that they care or why they care, but
nobody
do
cares.
care.
First off, except for like other guitarists that are like just like going to town at your tone. Oh,
No,
fuck
not
that
at all.
tone, dude. But,
Incorrect.
All right, then two caveats to that. Then guitar amps are garbage. Then they're stupid.
Eddie Van Halen,
like they're so dumb. Like
Eddie Van Halen probably kept his volume at 0.
oh, and
or
then
like
also,
1 also for
and
that
then
reason,
like
right?
just semicolons and addendums to this unpopular opinion. You're not Eddie Van Halen. Turn down.
It's,
Zing.
no, first of all, I
But
wouldn't
here's
want to be.
yeah, but okay, but here's the last part of it.
grossly
If you
overrated,
really
but-
need to hear your tone that well, then every guitarist should have their amp pointed right at them on stage, because that's just bullshit.
Just, again, like-
it's bullshit.
like
you
a-
just want it's like a guitar dildo on stage.
No, it's
How loud can you make it so everybody's looking at you?
See, the thing is that what you're
It's true.
What you're saying right now is different than what you were saying as your unpopular opinion.
What?
Because what you're saying as your unpopular opinion is that nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
What you're saying right now is that it actually makes no difference, and there's a big difference in how the tone actually comes through the speaker at that
No.
point, and also how sound travels. Somebody who should know this
So
is
stupid.
that if I put my amplifier directly behind me,
No. I'm saying in front of you.
oh, I hate hearing my
No,
tone.
no.
I hate hearing my guitar from that
Everybody
angle.
else does too.
No, they don't.
That's what I'm trying to say. You
that's-
don't need to turn it up.
No, you're right. They hate
Buried you right there.
They hate hearing it when they sell out fucking amphitheaters and stadiums. They hate hearing the guitar come from in front of them, right? They all want the guitar coming from the back of them in those scenarios, or what are you talking about?
I'm talking about the guitarist. Their amp is going to be right in front of them on stage so that you can hear your tone real well.
No,
See, that's what I'm trying to say. Well, now, why not?
because I don't want it coming from that direction. I want it
That's-
coming from behind me.
Yeah, see. Yeah, you're backpedaling now.
Not at all. It has nothing to do with. It doesn't mean
I
anything.
feel like I'm in the middle of a band dispute.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is what happens all the time.
Because
This is
that's
just our
what he does. Because
relationship.
he'll be front and center stage, and then he's like, I need to have the guitar amp behind me where you are. And I'm like, why? And it's like, because it just... I need it there. And then he cranks up to 11 because you're so far in
Misrepresentation.
front of it. Your ears go this way. You get not from behind you. So just put your guitar amp in front of you. Everybody wins. Or turn down.
I don't need to say like everything that you're saying is you're digging your own hole here.
No,
That's
I'm
all
not.
it is. But what do you think,
It's
Brett?
an unpopular opinion, but whatever.
I mean,
You
know,
played through amplifiers back in the day.
yeah, I have, and I feel like when a guitar solo sounds good, I'm never like, ooh, that tone.
That
But when
fucking
the tone sucks, I do say your guitar tone sounds like shit. So
Yeah.
there is a difference between just being well pleased with the sound of a guitar because you don't have to think about it because it sounds good, versus like it kind of irking you the whole set because the guitar tone is just shitty. So, I will always side with guitar players that just want to sound their best. But it can get somewhat obnoxious when you just have to keep inching that volume knob up, especially as someone who might be playing an acoustic instrument on stage with a loud band. It's like eventually this thing shouldn't even be up here with you guys because you're too loud.
Totally.
know?
And guitar players will know this because this is just known amongst guitar players. a 22 watt amplifier that's kind of set between 4 and 5 on the amp is not super loud.
Yeah, it's
Like,
not a Marshall half stack.
that which would be like 100 watts right there.
Right.
If we're turning that at half volume, then I get your point. Or even like a twin reverb, which is 75 watts.
Yeah.
Like if you have that
It's
at
a
half
loud-ass
volume,
amp.
that's insanity. And like
Yeah.
there's no, because in order to get the tone, you need it to be that loud, but that's too loud.
Mm-hmm.
A 22 watt amp between 4 and 5 volume is not really that loud at all. It's just, it's whatever. But
What would you call that tone? Loud. It sounds loud.
So it's
Beefy,
if you ever play
powerful.
you play an acoustic electric though,
Sounds
right?
good.
And you play, and if you're playing at a venue,
I have
or
an
something,
internal microphone in mine, so there's no
Yeah.
like transducer pickup sound. It's still like a mic,
Right.
I mean, in bluegrass, you're trying to get the most natural sound you can, and I can get a little more stage volume with the internal mic than I could off one that I'm just like stuffing in front of me. So
Right.
and it gives me the freedom of not being tethered to a microphone, But in bluegrass, if you have a really nice guitar, which shout out to Preston Thompson Guitars, I endorse them and use one of their boxes. It's my favorite guitar I've ever owned. And it's like you spend a lot of money on a really nice instrument. You want it to sound like your instrument, not like a shitty electric representation of your
Right.
instrument, and acoustic pickup technology has come a long way where you can get a really accurate representation of your guitar, and I don't know, it's just different. The stage volume for a bluegrass band is probably 1/3 of what you guys are used to, having drums and amps and a bass. Like, it's just, you don't have to be as loud on the stage because there's not all these loud things to compete with,
Totally. Yeah, I would almost liken it to like when you turn on a television and then you put like the coloring like all the way down and you watch the TV like that. It's like, you don't need all those colors, bro. It doesn't need to be that bright. Just watch it with the color all the way
No.
down and then just take it in like that. It's like,
That was an awful analogy.
no, it's the same thing
No,
actually.
there's nothing like it, really.
No, there is.
Maybe keyboard players are just mad because they're not in control of their tone at all. It's
That's
just like,
true.
That's totally untrue.
No, that's
I
true.
can control my tone with so many knobs, and it doesn't have to
I've
be
got
loud. It'll
8
be the
million
same
knobs.
tone no matter what. Yeah, I got all the knobs in the world. What's up?
Okay, so let me go to my
Great
unpopular
unpopular opinion.
opinion.
Probably my best one.
It's just
Unpopular.
It's crazy.
That's
It
the whole
doesn't make any
point.
sense at all.
Okay.
So my unpopular opinion this week, is that country rap is a terrible fad that has to go away.
Didn't it already go
Fuck
away?
yeah.
Like, what else? Is it still going on?
Oh yeah, I
Was
can't
that-
even name you any
that-
artists because I just purposefully like avoid it like the plague. But holy shit, it has got to be the most pandering
Dude.
bullshit.
I feel like some of the most angry I've been recently listening to music that was unfamiliar to me. I was at a gig and they put on house music at the gig, and then I just hear this asshole start rapping about how country he is. He is rapping about
Yeah.
how country he is, and I'm like, dude, I don't think you fucking heard country music before. Because
Yeah,
this
or rap for that
ain't
matter.
it. You know what I mean? Like, I wish the ghost of Hank Williams would come and beat your head in with a bat, because
Yeah.
this shit is that horrible. And like, there's just some things that do not need to be, and country rap is one of them as far as I'm concerned. It's like, country music used to have this beautiful long tradition of like great singers and songwriters and pickers and musicians. And now when you say country music, that's the shit people think you mean. And that sucks to me because, when I think of country music, I think of Merle Haggard and Hank Williams and Johnny Cash
Yeah.
and Marty Robbins and these artists that could sing and write and play and just touch your heart, And now it's like, these dudes rapping, and it's just like, it's a huge tarnish on the tradition of country music to me,
Yeah, and I also feel like, because I'm also a big fan of hip hop, and to me it does
Hick hop. That's so great.
hip hop.
Please call it by its real name
That's our
So
word, all
sorry.
right?
That's our
for the rest of the interview.
hip hop.
I thought everybody called it crap, country rap.
Oh, I like that too.
Tractor rap.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But like, I'm waiting for this new Hank Williams remix. This is gonna fucking slap.
I can't because the thing is like, look at as social media has helped artists of various genres breach different cultures and the intermingling of different cultural things is great. And I'm sure that there's a way where hip hop and country can find a nice middle ground to create something nice. This isn't it. This sounds like the most pandering bullshit I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
It's like there was rappers back like a long time, like Lil White, who rapped with 3 6 Mafia and all that stuff. Like he did some like very like he would rap about like very like redneck kind of scenarios and do it with like a twang that was almost like very like backwoods Southern, but also a little bit like urban too, because he was from Memphis and like they kind of have the best of both worlds. So it's kind of like he did it in a way that was like, okay, and also wasn't like a pop star, so it didn't come off as pandering. It was like, this is what you've experienced, and this is kind of cool, right? But then there's a way of like talking about like the culture of being a Southerner, and then like the music, but then also like rapping in a way that like where I don't know, just it's so pandering. It just comes off as so inauthentic. I hate it.
Well, dude, the thing is like, that none of these guys wrote their own songs. Like
Right.
somebody wrote your rap part for you, and then you basically tried your hand at rap in the studio for the first time, and someone was like, "Sounds good," like it's musically void of any real feeling or anything that I value in music.
That's what I'm saying,
it's just manufactured bullshit.
Yeah.
And it's what they push on us on the radio as if it's what we want. And record sales say different. You look at the record sales of someone like Sturgill Simpson or Tyler Childers.
Yeah.
People that they're not actively playing on the radio most places. It's like, this is the country music people want to consume, and you guys will not give it to them because you keep shoving this tractor rap horse shit down our throats.
Hick hop.
Hip hop, yeah. Sorry.
And I just call it terrible. Like there's two types of music, good and bad. And that's definitely bad music.
There's two types of music, good and bad. Yeah, 100%.
I love it. Yeah. Well, I'm glad we're all on the same page with that one.
Yeah,
Les
okay.
Billy, do you want to come to the defense of hip hop?
Old Town Road's pretty good.
Anyways,
If
okay.
you say so, brother.
So, Brett, you got any unpopular opinions for us?
Oh man, I've got a lot, but
You got, bro. We're in a safe space right now.
no, we're not. We never are.
The internet is forever.
Yeah.
Yep, that's for sure. Okay, here's an unpopular opinion. Girls on Tinder who have in their bio about how much they value honesty and authenticity and things of that nature, and then every picture is a filter. That to me is the ultimate sign of someone who is not self-aware and
100%.
buying their own bullshit.
I can imagine that. Yeah. I haven't had to, I've been in a relationship for the last 8 years, so I've never done the dating apps.
Good
but,
for you.
But I will say that I can only imagine that must be quite a struggle or
It's
just,
not a struggle anymore. It's just like you just learn. It's like if all their pictures are filtered, no thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
There's some dishonesty happening here, and I'm not going to investigate to find out to what extent it goes.
It always happens with the dishonesty, right? Before that, there was like chicks just like, putting on a bunch of makeup, guys growing beards to hide certain, things like there's always a level of like putting on a face or
Like-
something that's not necessarily 100% real.
3 kids standing on their shoulders under a trench coat. Yeah. That kind of like.
I mean, I don't think anyone's ever tried to really pull that off as a real.
Fool me once. You want to see it, but like,
But
I met my girlfriend online actually through a dating app. I can't remember which one it was because I signed up for all of them, and that was like 2 years ago. And whew, man, that was a rough
Dude,
time.
I've sworn them off at this point. Actually, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
sometimes
That's not the arena a dude like me wins in. Like I'm not going to win the handsome picture contest, but like
have you tried holding a fish in a picture, or maybe hanging outside of the window of a pickup truck in a
Yeah.
picture?
No.
That seems to work real well for most guys.
my girlfriend.
seems like pandering to
yeah,
me.
but she said the only reason that she picked me is because I was the only guy not holding a fish.
Yeah,
There
I've
you
seen
go.
a lot of girls complaining about the fish pictures.
Have
They're
you tried
What's
quoting?
up with all these dead fish?
Yeah,
Have you tried quoting your favorite hip hop song?
hick hop.
No.
No. Well, maybe we need to start stepping the game up a little bit, boys. Let me curate your Tinder pages for you. I'll get you.
I don't
some-
have many more, man. My phone is free of dating apps right
That's
now,
what's
and
up.
I'm happy about it.
That's is it weird? Like when you meet a woman on a dating app? Is it weird like meeting up with them in that kind for the first time under that kind of pretense?
Oh, it sucks.
like
It's
a
like
blind
it's
date,
like an
yeah.
interview. You know what I mean? It's not even like let's get to know each other. It's like straight up like an interview. Sometimes is what it feels like. And
Yeah.
It's just like 4 questions into an interview, I'm usually losing interest pretty fast. I'm like, all right, well, you're looking for this very specific set of criteria and finding out if I fit in your box or not. And frankly, I'm not the kind of guy who's like, that doesn't interest me, like that process. It's just like, all right, and like I said, that's not where a dude like me wins, on a dating app of handsome picture contest.
Put over 6 feet, you win. Like, what are you
No,
talking-
see,
what are you
that's I
talking
had
about?
another friend just recently say that. He's like, no, bro, you're tall. You just have to put your tall. And I'm like, dude, that's not how it works. And I was like, straight up, show me your list of matches as a shorter fella that's quite handsome. Shout out to my buddy Joey. He's a handsome bastard.
Shout out to Joey.
But anyway, he shows me and he's just got like this, mile-long list of broads. I'm like, dude, if I showed you mine when I had like 3 matches in there, that was like over the course of a month. Being tall doesn't mean shit. Like,
Yeah.
like, it's not,
Short
I
kings
play
are
in a
on
band.
top
I
right
play
now.
music. Like that's where a guy like me wins, is just talking to women in public, after getting off stage. That's the natural place for me to meet a gal. It's like I just got to show off what I can do, and now I'm semi-interesting to you, so let's have a real conversation that's not an interview,
Right.
On my profile, it said that I worked at Side Hustle. Like, I was in a band called Side Hustle, but like Carrie thought that I was just like, always just like,
You have a side
I
hustle.
have a side hustle, and he's like, he's kind of a musician or something like that.
That's so
Or
funny.
you know what I mean? Just doesn't. But I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm just like, no, my band name is Side Hustle.
I never used to list my band name on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, did you list your band name on Tinder or
Like
whatever?
I said, where do you work
Occupation.
at? Side Hustle.
It's funny.
Probably not the greatest thing to put on there, but it worked out in the end.
I suckered my girlfriend into being with me after meeting her at
obviously.
a jam session down south.
See, that's where you win, right?
Well, she thought so anyways, and then she got to know me. But it was too late by that point. I already had her all wrapped up. But she knew. But
Classic catfish. maneuver.
Yeah.
exactly. It's like
The
you
guitar catfish.
because you think that I'm talented, you also think I'm like a great person. And boy, were you wrong. 8 years later, here we are, guys.
Hey
So,
man, you must be doing something all right.
yeah, I'm doing a lot of work on myself. I'll say that much. But
Hey man, you got to.
yeah,
And
totally.
you spend your 20s being an asshole and realize that like it's time to tighten up.
Yeah, totally. Well, this has been a great interview, man. Thank you so much for coming on
Man,
the show.
appreciate the chance. It's been fun.
Hell yeah. So we'll see you guys next time. Make sure you check out everything Brett's got going on. Grandpa's Cough Medicine. So you don't have a release date yet for the album, but you're working on it.
No, but man, the fans have really been listening to the old stuff a lot, I think, since I announced that it was coming back. So I just thank you to everybody that spins that stuff on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music. Like it's on all the streaming platforms. You can use it in your TikTok videos if you so desire. So
Hell yeah.
appreciate the support.
Hell yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Adios, muchachos.